I don't know about you, but I'm not the biggest fan of Valentine's Day, and that's probably because I was single for most Valentine's Day until I was like 25. So it's always kind of been this day that I don't want to celebrate and I don't really enjoy. But I do really like romance books. I have 4 books to mention. Most of them come out like the middle of February, right around Valentine's Day. So I thought, why not? Let's talk about them. I think I'm gonna go in order from most excited to read it to it sounds pretty good, but I'm not like gonna run out and buy it right this second. So the first book that I'm gonna talk about that I'm really excited to read is called Boyfriend for Hire, and it's by Kendall Ryan. From the Goodreads summary, it sounds like it's in the point of view of the guy. So I thought that was really interesting because I feel like we always see like split point of view, but we don't really see a lot of romance books from the guy's point of view only. Obviously I haven't read it, so maybe it is split point of view, but if it's just from the guy, I think that's really cool. So there's this guy who is a male escort, and he specializes in being dates for people that want to try to impress like their family or their ex or their boss or whatever at events like weddings and stuff. So there's this girl Elle, and her friend hires this guy, this male escort, to be Elle's date for a wedding. But she doesn't tell her that it's like she's paying this guy to take her, so Elle thinks that this is real. Then of course he ends up falling for her, there's lots of chemistry, and it said in all 6 years that he's been doing this, he's never fallen for one of his customers, so obviously he's a little bit hesitant to fall for her. Honestly, this sounds like the movie The Wedding Date plus The Kiss Quotient. It sounds like if you took those 2 things and married them together, and I'm so excited because I love both of those things on their own. I do like romances where there's not forbidden, but like you don't want to date like your customer, obviously. So where there's that kind of like hesitation of I shouldn't like this person or I shouldn't get involved with this person. I do enjoy that. A lot of the times I do enjoy when there's a secret between the 2 characters, because then you're just waiting for it to explode when the one character finds out what the other person's been lying about the whole time. So sometimes I do enjoy that, and I'm excited to see how that plays out in this one. Again, it comes out February 19th, so I'm definitely going to pick that up this month and read it. Next book that I'm really excited to read, the first book came out last year, but the second book in the series comes out February 18th. The book is called The Chase, and this is by Elle Kennedy. I've read a bunch of her other books. She has a series that is like about hockey players, and this one is a separate series. It's the Briar U series, but I'm pretty sure it's the same characters like from the first series. So I'm not really sure how these all connect, but this one is a new adult college romance. So the first line of the summary says something about opposites attracting. It says that there's this guy named Colin who has a lot of tattoos, he likes to play hockey, and he likes video games. And there's the main character, Summer, who this guy Colin apparently thinks is like superficial and dumb. Despite all their differences, she's really attracted to him, but she finds out through a mutual friend that he's not really attracted to her. She feels like there's a lot of chemistry between them, so she's like, can't help that she likes him. And there's 2 complications that they mention in the summary. The first is that Summer moves in with him because I guess he lives with her brother maybe. So she moves in with a bunch of people and he lives in that house. Then the second complication is that his best friend likes her. So I'm thinking that he's pretending he doesn't like her because the best friend likes her, and that everything's just gonna explode when he can't hold his feelings back anymore. But it says it's called The Chase because it says that she refuses to chase a guy, and that if he likes her, he'll know where to find her. I think it's going to be a lot of like slow burn romance, intense chemistry of these 2 people that live in the same house that obviously like each other, but just both are not really making a move, and I'm just so ready for it. Might even be a little bit of like hate to love, where like they kind of get on each other's nerves in the beginning because they are so different, so I'm excited to see if that plays out. And obviously I really like when characters are rooming together because it just adds an extra layer of intensity because they're seeing each other like when they're vulnerable when they're in their house. And then, like I said, the second book comes out February 18th, so don't have to wait too long after I read this one to go and get the second one. Okay, this next book is a YA contemporary. This is called Match Me If You Can, and it's by Tanya Smith. This one came out January 8th of this year. So in this book there's a girl named Mia, and her friend runs a matchmaking service at the school, and so she's been like dying to have her friend make a match for her because homecoming dance is coming up and she wants to date but her friend just refuses for some reason. So she sneaks in and she matches herself with one of the popular guys that she's had a crush on named Vince. This is out of the blue. This guy named Logan, who is the school's newspaper photographer, suddenly likes her. And so now she's got to decide between the hot popular guy or this school newspaper photographer guy who she's not sure if she likes, but she knows she likes the other guy. She's got to decide like who she likes. And then she's got to make sure that her friend doesn't find out that she went behind her back and matched herself with the popular guy. But yeah, I want to read this story and just see how I feel about it. And the last book I want to talk about is a Sophie Kinsella book. I love Sophie Kinsella. I've read almost all of her books and they're always like pretty funny and just quick reads, and they just focus on a romance. Her newest book came out February 5th. And it hasn't really gotten the best reviews, so I'm a little bit nervous to go into this, but I just really like this author, so I'll probably read it no matter what. It's called IOU. So the first strike against this is that the main character's name is Fixie, F-I-X-I-E, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to get past that. But there's this woman named Fixie, and she's trying to keep her dad's store running after he passes away. And I guess all of her siblings are not really pulling their weight, and she's kind of stuck trying to keep this store going in memory of her dad. She's in a coffee shop and she ends up doing something nice for somebody, and so this guy gives her an IOU and says like, if you ever need anything, let me know. And I guess she actually calls in the favor, and then it says like they kind of go back and forth helping each other and giving IOUs, and obviously some kind of romance blooms from that. That's kind of really all that it says in the summary. It kind of just implies that her life is a mess and she's trying to like get it on track, and then this guy is like handsome and maybe like a CEO type of person. I'm not really sure what he does, but it sounds like he has his life together, and so then they go back and forth with the IOUs. I don't really know. It just sounds like a typical romantic comedy where there's these two characters that meet and it seems like it's fate, and then they kind of are thrown together time and time again. The reason that I do want to read it is because Sophie Kinsella is usually pretty funny. Her characters are always kind of a mess and like almost like Bridget Jones kind of characters, but they're always pretty funny. So I think even if it is predictable and not like the best story in the world, I think it's still going to be a fun ride, and I like the whole idea of like doing favors for each other, like having the IOUs. I think that's going to be fun to read. So let me know down in the comments if any of these books sound good to you, and if you plan to read romance in the month of February, let me know what you're planning to read, because always on the lookout for romance books. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.